All right, so we got one more ticket to be punched into the conference final this season in the MLS playoffs, and after 23 days of layoff, we finally see the Supporters Shield winner, the New England Revolution, play in a playoff game as their journey of potentially winning their first MLS Cup is going to start with them playing against NYCFC at home. And as I mentioned, they of course finally get to play a playoff game after 23 days of rest. And don't ask me why exactly that is the case. And I've said before where this break, believe it or not, it was actually longer than I thought it was. I mean, I said that it was probably going to be long, but man, this is definitely a long rest that they had to deal with. And again, I think partially the reason why they couldn't play until now is because I know the Patriots were playing their home game this weekend, so there was no choice that they had to maybe play in the middle of the week or also last midweek. But that being said, I think we can all agree that yes, with them winning the Supporters Shield, it's a great thing and all, and they get the benefit of moving on to the next round. But they also get the unfortunate situation of them playing their first game in literally feels like a very long time, and we'll definitely talk a little bit more about that long break and how it could potentially affect them in the key points. But for NYCFC, they of course are coming off of a 2-0 win against Atlanta United at home, and it's also been a while since NYCFC has played their first round game. I believe they play not last Saturday, but I think it was the previous Saturday. So they also kind of had a 10-day layoff, and I'm pretty sure rest is not going to be a factor coming into this game for both of these teams. Now, the last 5 head-to-head between both of these teams, it was the Revs winning 2-1 against NYCFC the last time both of these teams met at Gillette Stadium. But NYCFC did win 2-0 against New England earlier this season before New England did win 3-2 at Yankee Stadium against NYCFC. Or actually, no, not at Yankee Stadium, but at Red Bull Arena, because I forgot this game was the game that, of course, was part of that mini kind of series where NYCFC decided to treat Red Bull Arena kind of like their home field during the summer. But before that, New England did win 2-1 on the road against NYCFC, and then it was a 0-0 draw between both of these teams in the other meeting at Gillette Stadium. But that's where we're now getting into the key points in terms of this game. And like I said, it's been 23 days since the Revs have played a game, and I'm very interested to see how they will look in the first 30 minutes of this game. And it's going to be very, very important for this team to, I expect maybe this team might be a little bit rusty coming out of the gate, and I won't be surprised they might not take a lot of risk early in the game, because when you're so rusty and haven't played in a 3-week stretch, you are going to kind of try to feel their way into the game. I mean, I'm not saying that this is a team that doesn't have any playoff experience. I mean, last season they basically got all the way into the Eastern Conference Final, and it's been proven that these players knows how to deal with the pressure of the playoffs. But this is really the first time that they had to deal with the pressure of them being on a long layoff, and the fact that they're kind of the favorites of winning the whole competition. It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to handle it, and especially the first 30 minutes of the game. I won't be surprised they might come off with a bit of a slow start, but they also got to know that if they are going to come off with a slow start, they also might need to maybe ride out the storm where, I'm pretty sure NYCFC is going to capitalize this, and I'm pretty sure Ronnie Daly have mentioned to his team that, they need to really go at it from the beginning of the whistle, because they know New England is going to be rusty, and they want to maybe get an early goal in this game to capitalize on a Revs team that might be a little bit rusty, and now force them to kind of have to chase the game. Now, the second key points coming into this game is that can Carlos Hill, who is bound to win the MVP this season, show his magic once again in the playoffs. We know what he did last season in the playoffs, and was really the key member of why the Revs went all the way into the Eastern Conference Final. And now the question is, can he do it again? And there's definitely a sense that answer is yes, because he must have spent a lot of time watching how Hani Mukhtar is creating his magic in the playoffs with Nashville. And I know, as I said, he is going to eventually win MVP, because I think the MVP voting ended in the regular season. And while Hani Mukhtar has had a great postseason, and in some way, if his team actually got to the Eastern Conference Final and did not lose to Philly, you could say that there could be a good case that he could even win MVP if the voting even go into the postseason. But obviously the voting kind of stopped in the regular season, and there's no doubt that Carlos Hill, you got to say he's definitely had an MVP type of year, and now it's a chance for him to kind of show that, you know, it's not just the regular season that he had an MVP kind of year. He's going to show once again in the playoffs to carry this team over the line, and I won't be surprised that everything is going to go toward his way. And as much as I know NYCFC also knows that, and they'll probably try to maybe double team him and try to stop in some way, I expect Carlos Hill, even when the opposition know he's going to make an impact, he is still going to make an impact, because right now literally nobody has been able to stop him. Like, the word pretty much is out there that, you know, if you can stop Carlos Hill on this attack, you can maybe neutralize this New England defense a little bit, but so far that just have not been the case. Now, another player that I also want to mention, and I didn't write it on the key points here, is I want to see how's the health of Adam Buksa. So Adam Buksa has been out for a couple of weeks, and, you know, there's only one benefit that New England has had during this 23-day, is that it does allow Adam Buksa to be back in this team after he suffered an injury after that November international break with Poland. But, you know, he is now should be back with this team, but it's going to be interesting to see how healthy he is going to be back, because, you know, it's one thing to be back from an injury, but if you haven't played in a competitive game and this is the first time you're back in an injury, it could be a little bit difficult. So we'll see how his impact is going to be for this Revs team. But the final point for this game, you know, now talk about NYCFC. Really, the simple key point for them is, can they finally break the curse? I mean, the curse of them unable to get into the second round is pretty much all on their fan base mind, and pretty much on every single player's mind. And there's a good chance that they could maybe finally break the curse. Well, I say it's a good chance, but then you have to go on the road to play against the best team in the league to do so, and that's definitely not a very easy task. But if there's one thing about this NYCFC team, is that, you know, so far they have kind of proved people wrong, that, you know they are a team that they're destined to trying to finally end that narrative, and they definitely has the team to do so. I mean, their attack is really good, with Maxi Morales really turning back the clock and for once actually showing up in the playoffs, and then Tati Castellanos doing Tati Castellanos kind of thing. And not to mention the midfield and defense of this team is also very, very solid. But, you know, if they are going to knock off the Revs and cause an upset in this one, those guys need to be at their best again, and it'll be very interesting to see how this game is going to go. And I won't be surprised this might be another game that could go into extra time, because I feel like, you know, when you look at both conferences, and I think the media even mentioned this, but, you know, the East seems to be a little bit stronger this season in the playoffs compared to the Western Conference. I mean, the Western Conference, it's been just pure chaos with what's going on, with how somehow the top three team got knocked out, and that at the end we got the Portland Timbers against RSL in the Western Conference final, which nobody would have predicted that was the Western Conference final matchup. Whereas in the East, it's a little bit more predictable, and that, you know, I think the predictability kind of shows why maybe this conference is a little bit much stronger, with the strongest team actually showing up. But that being said, you know, I'm pretty sure NYCFC would love to kind of end that. I also think that there's so far no road teams in the Eastern Conference has been able to get a win on the road. And, you know, with NYCFC, not only the fact that they want to break their curse of not able to get past the second round, but they also want to finally become that team to finally move on into the next round, become the first road team coming out of the Eastern Conference playoffs to move on into the next round. So yeah, we'll see if that is gonna be the case. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this game? And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys do like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.